It's market time! This Saturday, October 18th, I have a Halloween themed market in St. Cloud, Minnesota. This event is hosted by Bizarre Bazaar and has approximately 4,200 people interested in going on just the Facebook event page. This is my first time doing any event with the organizers Bizarre Bazaar. I do know that they have an adult only event in November and a holiday event in December, both of which I will not be able to attend, but I am hoping that I can stay on their emailing list so I can do another event with them. There were two types of spaces available. There was a 10 by 5 foot space for $75 and then a 10 by 10 foot space. I think it was for like 100 or 125. I ended up going with the 10 foot by 5 foot space for the $75. In my last video where I do a bunch of marker peppering that isn't like crocheting, I did do a mock setup with two tables. I used an 8-foot table and a 4-foot table, plus, you know, all the crates and things, making sure everything could fit in that 10 by 5 foot space. And it did. It ended up working out. All was well. I am super excited to be participating in this market. I have a lot of Halloween plushies just that I made over the years that haven't really sold. I also have been making a lot of Halloween plushies, so I'm very excited to go to this event. I also learned that there are no MLMs allowed, which is really nice because they can buy up a lot of booth spaces. So all the people at this event are going to be like handmade vendors and things like that instead of MLM schemes. Hi, I'm Anna, aka Miss A, and I run a small business called Miss A Crochet. I crochet plushies to sell at markets. I also design and sell my own patterns online for you guys, and I post a bunch of stuff on the internet. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad you ended up stumbling into my corner of the internet. Make sure to buckle up for the ride. Oh, what did I do to my neck? If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, hi, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me again. I honestly don't have much more else to say about this event. I found it on Facebook. I'm in a bunch of different Facebook groups. If you're interested in how I find markets, I do have a video dedicated to how I find markets to sell at. I think there's at least 80 vendors that are going to be there. I'm table number 64. So that makes me think there's going to be a lot of people here, which is very exciting. Let's go and see all the plushies that I plan on bringing to this event. Hello, this is past me coming on to talk about all the things that I plan on bringing to this market. I'm thinking I will actually keep the second box of my plushies in my car if it fits. I don't plan on bringing everything, so this is what I have picked to go out right away. So let's get started because it already kind of looks like a lot, even though it's maybe a little bit over half of what I have in total. To begin, I have my Psyduck and my Squirtle. I made these in the Share the Love challenge, which you can watch. This one I am selling for $25, and this one I'm selling for $38 because he was just made with so many freaking pieces. I think they would be cute, like if some of my Halloween stuff sell, you know, I can set these ones out, but I thought I would bring them. I feel like eventually they'll sell. I just need to bring them to more markets because my last market was the first time that I ever had them. I plan on bringing 3 groovy flowers. This one I made in a live along with this one. I don't know. I made a lot of them. I love groovy flowers. I sell them all for $30 a piece, and I'm planning on bringing 3, although I think I have some more in a different tubby. In fact, I'm sure I do. I think 3 is fine. I also plan on bringing my Twilight Bat that I pattern tested for Raven Jade Co. I think he looks like a gargoyle, which I think is cute, but I plan on bringing him and selling him for $28 just because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pieces. I didn't time myself making him, or maybe I did. I don't remember. but I think that that's a fair price. I have only one pink ghost that I will be selling for $12. This is my own No Sew Perfect Ghost pattern. This is the Sparkle Bernat. I don't know if you can actually see it, but she is very sparkly and very cute. I have another ghost. This is the same pattern with the cream Bernat Sparkle. I'm selling it for the exact same price. And then I have two more in just basic white that I am also selling for $12. I have one skull from the same Share the Love challenge. This was a free pattern by kumita.it, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. It's now been a while since I filmed that video. I really like how it turned out. I think it's a really good size. I'm charging $15 for it because it really wasn't that hard to do. I think it took me like maybe 40 minutes, and so then material costs and all that. But I have one little spooky skull. I also have a very, very old pattern test. This little Wicked Witch, I think I actually tested before Wicked even came out, and I'm selling her for $35 because she is super detailed. Like, she has little striped socks, all the individual hairs, the nose, and all that. I hope she sells. I've had her for a while. I might lower the price at the event. I have a $17 gray axolotl. All of my Bernat blanket axolotls are $17. I have many more axolotls to show you. I have a red Bernat blanket, purple Bernat blanket, pink Bernat blanket, and then two demi pearl axolotls in, I think this was Jade Sheen. I could be wrong. And then I don't remember the name of this one, but their gills are with Bernat blanket. And so again, the demi pearl is, in my opinion, super compatible with Bernat blanket. They're a little bit bigger than my other ones, but I am charging the same price of $17. I also have this gold Bernat axolotl. Forgot to show him. This is the white and light pink one. This is a color combo that sells really well for me, I think because it's like actually what they look like. I honestly really like this color combo as well. I'm kind of sad that I don't have a bigger one in that color combo, but I do have one in blue, purple, dark pink, pink and purple. I have one in teal, whose baby was purchased at the last market. Gray, beep beep, and light pink. I sell all of the big axolotls for $27 a piece, just like my big turtles. I also have one more little baby axolotl in the light pink color combo, so I do have a couple matching pairs of the baby and big axolotls, plus a gray one that I just found that matches the big gray one because I was batch crocheting. 3 opossums. I feel like they just kind of match the sort of Halloween spooky-ish vibe. They usually do pretty well for me. I think like having them with my frogs and my rats would look really cute. So I'm bringing these 3 and I sell them for $16 a piece. Speaking of the frogs, here is a grumpy frog. This is a pattern by Mama Made Minis, and I sell my grumpy frogs, and I call them that. They're not actually called grumpy frogs, but I call them that. I sell them for $13. Here I have 2 more chubby frogs, again, $13 a piece. Here is everybody's favorite pineapple that never actually gets purchased. This was a pattern test for Tiny Friends Crochet. I have a bunch of other fruit and veggies to show you after this. But I am selling this pineapple for $20. I feel like that's a fair price given all the special stitches I had to do and the fact that people buy the peas in the pod, which is somewhat easier to make than this, for the exact same price. So I have one pineapple for $20. I have one radish from that same pattern bundle for $8. It was almost purchased at my last market, but then I think they changed their mind or got something else. I don't really remember. Here is a strawberry from that pattern bundle for $13. It has all the blush and the little seeds and things. I really like the strawberry. I maybe will lower the price because I want it to sell. But at the same time, I did do like some of the calculations and things for these plushies, and I want to be making money. Another guy from the pattern pack is this green onion or leek. There was a lot of debate in my last market if it was a green onion or a leek. I am selling this guy for $8, and he was very easy. I mean, crocheting such small rounds sucks, but he did not take me very long. He's very small, not a lot of material costs at all. I have an orange, again, same pattern bundle. I'm selling him for $12. I could maybe charge less, though I do feel like I did calculate the material cost and things for this little guy, but he's just an orange. I mean, sometimes he kind of gives pumpkin. I'm only bringing one blueberry because my other one sold at the last market, but I sell the blueberries for $8. I also am only bringing one carrot because a carrot sold at my last market, and I sell the carrots for $12. And I'm only bringing one watermelon because at my last market, a watermelon sold. And I do sell the watermelon for $13. I think that this is the last of the food, although it is a lot, so buckle up. I have 2 peas in a pod. I gotta make sure I'm holding them the right way. I have one in this sort of yellowy green and more of a bluish green. I sell both of these for $20 a piece. My peas in the pod of all the food plushies I make are the best seller, so I wanted to bring more. I also made 3 eggs. These guys are made out of Sweet Snuggles Light or Chenille Home Slim, and I couldn't remember what I sold them for before, but they were super easy to make. I made like 3 in one night, I think, in my last video, or my video before my last video, I don't even know. And I'm selling these guys for $12 because no sew, super easy. Another cheaper thing I'm selling are these mushrooms. This is from the Tiny Friends crochet bundle. I'm selling these guys for $8 a piece. I might be kind of ripping myself off a little bit, but I'm too lazy to time myself, and it's my first time ever trying to sell them. So I just kind of want to see what happens. If I'm, you know, losing $1 or $2, oh well. We live and we learn. Another new thing that I will be selling for the first time are these cherries. This one is supposed to be the sour cherry. I felt like the color of these cherries was like pre-ripe or whatever. I feel like they just looked kind of sour as I have to try and pick off a fuzzy. I've only ever made and sold one cherry before this, and so now I'm bringing 2 sets of cherries to sell, and I am pricing them at $20, just like the peas in the pod, because I feel like they're similar-ish amount of work. The little cherries are a little bit bigger than the peas, and there is some assembling. I have 2 demi pearl candy corns. This is my own no-sew candy corn fella. I am charging $10 each for these guys. They have little mouths. Neither of them have blush. I should maybe add blush, but at the same time, I think they're really kind of cute the way they are. I have 4 more candy corn fellas whose price I actually need to change to match the ones that I just showed you. Originally, I was trying to sell these guys for $15, Don't really know why I thought they would sell for $15. I think I wasn't as good at crocheting then, so I wasn't making them as fast. But I am going to be repricing them to be $10 each. I have two more pink candy corns, one of which I added a mouth and blush, and the other one that I left alone. I feel like I made these in some vlog somewhat recently, but again, same pattern, Bernat blanket. I'm selling them for $10. If you're interested, this pattern is by me. You'd be really supporting me if you went and checked it out and maybe bought the pattern. Who knows? And there also might be a hack that if you favorite the pattern, I'll send you a coupon so you can get it for even cheaper. Sticking with the Halloween theme, I have 3 bats. This is a free pattern from Bubba Days Co. I sell these bats for $20 a piece. I'm debating that. Honestly, I might make one tonight and time myself and weigh out the materials because I feel like $20 is kind of a lot. But also I've had people purchase them for $20. Like my gray ones sold really well. And so I'm left with the weird funky colors, but still. I have 3 of these guys. Because I don't have any of my favorite cat plushies to bring, well, I have one. I will be bringing these, what I call the chonky cats. This is a Loso pattern that I really like. The loaf cats are not my favorite just because I want my things to have a little bit more details and things like that. So I'm very happy with this pattern, and obviously Big Baby's Zozo cats. But I have 3 of these guys to bring to make up for my no kitties, and I sell them for $32 a piece. At my first market where I brought, I think 3, they all sold for that same price. So I'm trying to get over being scared about pricing things higher or making like higher priced items. It's difficult. I feel bad, but like at the same time, I have to pay myself. I plan on only bringing 2 Junimos to this market. If you don't know, Junimos are from a very popular video game called Stardew Valley. It's like one of the only video games that I really love. I sell these guys for $20 a piece. I helped pattern test these years ago. It was like one of my very first pattern tests, and I'm much happier with the way these ones look compared to the way my old ones look. But I'm just going to be bringing 2. I don't even know if I'm going to have them on display right away. People buy them, even if they don't play the video game. So I will bring some. As previously mentioned, I will be bringing 3 rats. This is a paid pattern I got on Etsy. It's actually called mice, but I'm calling them rats because I've been told by many people that they want crochet rats. I'm selling them for $14 a piece. I think they're very cute. This guy's nose is a little rude. But we have a cream rat, light gray, and a dark gray rat. I have some friends from high school that live nearby the market, or you know, in my same town, and they are very excited to come to the market and get some rats. So I knew I had to bring them for them, and I think rats are kind of Halloween-y. Similar to the last market, I'm only going to bring a handful of Dumbo octopi. I have this purple one. This is Big Twist. I have an orange one, Bernat. I feel like the orange one will do well. A yellow one in Bernat, who's not sitting very nicely. A variegated Bernat. And another variegated Bernat. I sold, I think, 2 at my last market, which is more than I usually do. I feel like octopi and things like that don't usually sell well, but I'll bring them. And I do sell them for $14 a piece. I could maybe lower the price, but I can't really be bothered to. I do plan on bringing 2 red crabs. The crabs always kind of sell well for me, which is great because it's my own pattern, no sew. I sell the velvet crabs for $8 a piece. I sold one at my last market, but it was blue. So I plan on bringing these 2 leftover crabs to this one. I have a new plushie that I have never made and sold before. I have the Grim Reaper, whose head is crooked because he was just thrown around in a box. This is a pattern by Woolly Amigurumi. I got it after donating to a GoFundMe for one of their friends. They were doing this awesome thing to help a friend's kid I don't remember, they had some sort of illness or ailment or whatever. So if you donated anything over $5, you would get a pattern bundle. I had genuinely been wanting these patterns for a while, and so I was like, okay, that's awesome. I will do this and support this really great cause. So there we had a gray one. I also have a pink one and a green one. I think they're super cute and fun, and I am selling them for $35 a piece because I did do the calculations, and I'm a little bit scared, but at the same time I did the calculations, so I know that it's right. I am bringing 2 of my one-eyed, one-horn, flying purple people eaters. This is my own pattern that is available for sale on Etsy, and I don't remember the cost. My 2 most expensive items are these little, well, big boxes. This is a pattern from Raven Jade Co. I believe it was, I can't remember the name. Either way, I pattern tested it forever ago. I have my very own box up there, and I made these guys fairly recently. They have cute little bonnets. I am charging $45 for them. I have only sold one before, but I think I also sold it for that same price. So I have faith these guys will do well, especially this one because it's so freaking cute. I used a different yarn for the tail and the tips of the ears. It's like a super fuzzy yarn. I absolutely adore these guys, and I hope that they do well. We're almost to the end, I swear. Up next, we have chickens. I'm bringing, I think, 12 chickens. I have 2 of these guys. 2 of the yellow, which sold well at my last market. 2 of what I like to call the Oreo. 2 brown. I might grab a second cream one. And maybe a second fuzzy one. I know that my chicken coop holds 12, so if I have 12, I do kind of want to bring maybe 1 or 2 extra to have outside of the coop that people can like touch and really see. So I am going to go ahead and add 1 more cream and 1 more fuzzy one. I am bringing a total of 5 turtles that I sell for $27 a piece. I have this brighter turtle, and usually the bright ones do really well for me, even though they're not my favorite, but that's okay. I have a classic misty green and baby sand, I think. This cream and green variegated turtle. A cream and I don't remember the name, sorry. Along with this variegated body and dark greenish teal shell, plus some matching babies. We have this one to match the other cream one. We have this one that kind of matches. It does have that misty green body but the same dark shell. Another one with that dark shell but cream body. This one and Sailor's Delight, one of my favorites. Even though maybe I said I didn't like the colorful ones, I really like this one. This pink and misty green, and a misty green with a Sailor's Delight shell. I sell all of these baby turtles for $17 a piece. Lastly, we have our swinging friends. I plan on bringing 6. I have this dark green frog, this light green frog, a white chick, an orange axolotl, a pink axolotl, who doesn't want to sit up straight, a black axolotl, and that's it. I will hopefully see you at a very successful market tomorrow, in 2 days. I don't even know what this is. Did I trick you? Did you think that the original first me that you watched was past me? It's not. Today's October 22nd, so it's been about 4 days since the market. Sorry, I lied. I know, I feel kind of bad about it. Preparing for markets is a lot, and then preparing like an intro for the market before the market, and then recording all the things that I'm bringing. It's just too much. And I think last time I did this same thing where I recorded the intro and the outro at the same time. So I'm sorry for deceiving you, but it's what's working for me. Anyways, let's do the market breakdown. I woke up for the market at 7, even though setup started at 7. I knew that I didn't need 3 hours to set up my 10-foot by 5-foot table, so I decided to sleep in a little bit. So we ended up loading up the car and leaving around 8, but what we didn't realize is that the entryway to the freeway that we always take was under construction, so we had to like go past it and add an extra maybe 10 minutes to the trip, which means that we ended up getting to the event, I think, at 8:40 instead of 8:30, which kind of stressed me out a little bit, but it ended up being totally fine because when we were there, they had like these huge dollies that we could use to carry in everything at once. So we used that, and that was fine. Parking was, I mean, I didn't really deal with parking. My parents like went and parked the cars, but they said that it wasn't that bad. We thought it was going to be like way worse parking because it's at the River's Edge Convention Center, and so like there was a ramp, but there was also a lot that you could pay to be in, but the lot was only for 5 hours. The market was for 6, yada yada yada. But it ended up going really well. Setup was super easy. Having that rolling cart was amazing and very helpful. I know that I got like the tables, the tablecloths, and the crates set up by like 9:06 because I looked at the clock and I was like freaking out. And my mom just kept being like, what are you talking about? You're fine. You're, you know, whatever. And I ended up finishing setting up by 9:36 because, again, I looked at the clock to see. So that was really fun. The people across from us were candle makers and sellers, and they were setting up before we got there, and they were setting up while we were done setting up. So I shouldn't have been as stressed as I was, is what I'm trying to say. I was sort of placed in like the back corner, which kind of sucked, but it ended up being fine. I mean, everything was super well organized. Like my booth stall was numbered. I knew where I was going. I knew like the whole thing, like the edges of my booth and everything like that, which my booth ended up being a lot bigger than the 10 by 5s. It must have been like a 12 by 6 or something. I think also because I was on the end and like there was kind of a wall behind us, but like there was like columns as well. So I don't know. It ended up being perfectly fine. Still was getting foot traffic and things like that. Unfortunately though, the event wasn't like that busy. There were a lot of people on Facebook that were interested. I don't think they all showed up. There was never really a point in time where it was really busy, but there were definitely a lot of slow moments, which, I mean, was fine. We were indoors. It was, you know, I wasn't freezing like the last market. I was kind of like, oh, okay, so kind of a slow-paced market. There were definitely times where I was a little bit bored. Also, we were in like an auditorium sort of thing, and so I was like really wishing that they had some sort of music playing. Even if it was like bad music or whatever, I just needed something that wasn't like the sound of people walking and people talking. So maybe at my next market I need to bring my own speaker. That could be a thing. Despite some of my boredom and the maybe less busy vibes, I did end up making a total of 30 sales, which is the exact same amount that I made at my last market, which is kind of funny. And I'm not mad. I made back my $75 booth fee within like the first hour, so I was feeling good. It was obviously worth my time. Even if, you know, I don't make a ton of sales, I get to make some YouTube videos about it. I get content. I get to network and things like that. Before the market, I did learn that Splendidstardust, a fellow crocheter that I met at the St. Cloud Pride event, was going to be there, so I was super excited to be able to see her. And I got to meet a different crochet friend, Tiffany from Woodward Crafts. Tiffany, if you're watching this, hi! So when it was slow, I got to go over to their booths, or they would come to mine and we would chat or whatever. And Tiffany was telling me about a con in one of the cities that she signed up for and is planning to have $16,000 worth of inventory to bring there. Couldn't be me. I don't think that I'd be able to do that. I think I would get, I think like the most inventory I've ever had is, I think like $3,300. I can't imagine storing $16,000 worth of inventory. She did say because it was a very expensive booth fee and it's like a con that she would be able to charge more for her items. But still, that seems like so much work. So if you are interested in watching her market prep for that event, do make sure to check out her YouTube channel that I'll have linked down below or in that corner, I think. I did also get to see my piercer. I bought a pair of bone earrings from her. Her name or handle is Molly Oddity. I absolutely love her logo. She does a bunch of cool bone stuff. I had been looking at her website and I couldn't decide which ones I wanted to get. And so when I was there, I ended up standing at her booth for like an awkwardly long amount of time. But I picked out these ones. They have like the gold furnishings or whatever. I am very much a gold girly or a mixed metal person, but I ended up getting these bone earrings from her. And I got myself something very cute as well. I got myself a little Studio Ghibli terrarium. These guys are from the Princess Mononoke movie. I love it. There's a little butterfly on top of the mushroom. I got this from Sylvan Moon. So again, because it was slow, I was able to shop around, which was very fun. And I had seen this before, and then I was like, okay, I'll keep looking or whatever. And then I had to come back and get it when it was slow again. Another super cool thing that I bought from my booth neighbor, who is an author, are these two books. So this is called The President's Choice. They are two different books. So the very first chapter is the same. And then the whole rest of the book is influenced by the main character, a woman president's decision. In the one called Honesty and Transparency, she holds a press conference and tells the public about this like big issue. And in the other one called Safety and Security, she creates like her own secret task force to deal with this issue. And so both of the books are, you know, based on the same issue, but like the different routes that she could or did take in the books. And so my mom and I are planning on reading these. My mom is going to do the Honesty and Transparency book first, and I'm going to read the Safety and Security first. And these are by the author Dennis James. He was super awesome, amazing booth neighbor. He also is working on a 6-part, I think it was a fantasy series that was kind of like Percy Jackson, but with like adult characters. And what was it? He described it really well. It was like the, a book about like the professors in Harry Potter, like that sort of thing. So very much more like adult and teacher perspective. And so we did end up going with these ones just because I thought they were really cool and I wanted like both my mom and I to be able to read them. But this is another super cool thing that I got at the event. I don't think I've ever gone to an event or talked to an actual author at an event. So this was super cool to see. There were so many cool like jewelry places, witchy, crystal. There was a divination reading. I'm not 100% sure what divination is, but there was all of that. Bakers, some like seamstress or like sewing people. There was, I think, one other person that was doing crochet, but they mostly had like crochet clothing or like home good things. They only had a couple plushies. There also was a beanbags competition in a different hall where there was like 500 people. And so I think we maybe got some people from that competition, but they did have concessions over there. So I did end up getting my mom and I some really yummy walking tacos. Plus, I also ended up getting a really good cake pop, push pop, from a local baker as well. I think I showed a video of that. Okay. I know you guys are like, shut up. What are the numbers? The numbers are, I made 30 sales worth a total of $516. If I subtract the $75 booth fee, that means that I did make $441, like minus some square fees, but I honestly can't be bothered to do all of that math. But I think that was a pretty successful market. I mean, it's in St. Cloud. It was one of like the last really nice days for fall. Since then it's been like freaking cold. So I think, you know, for the event and like, you know, not everybody's super into like the Halloween or witchy or whatever. I think I'm happy with that. You know, I mean, like that's more than half of one of the student loans that I plan on paying off very soon. So I'll take it, especially because within that first hour, I made $116. So I immediately made back that booth fee, which made everything else feel just better. Once you know that you've made back your booth fee, I think you can really kind of just sit back and relax and then enjoy the market and all the other things instead of worrying about like, am I going to make my money? Am I going to make my money back? Oh my gosh. Sales. The very first thing that sold was one of my pink candy corn. This was my first time making and selling them, so I was very happy to see that they sold. I sold a sparkly ghost for $12. I then had somebody purchase 2 chickens. They purchased the dark fuzzy chicken and a light fuzzy chicken for a total of $32. Somebody else came by and purchased 2 items as well. They purchased a carrot and then one of the peas in the pod for a total of $32. A strawberry and a baby turtle for a total of $30. Then this family came and they bought a white rat and a light gray rat for a total of $28. What's funny though is they left behind a dark gray rat, which they came back to purchase like, I think maybe 30 or 40 minutes after they bought those other rats because they didn't want it to be lonely. And that was me as a child as well. That was me. And so I thought that it was very cute. They did end up buying all 3 of my rats. Somebody else purchased my gray Grim Reaper. The Grim Reapers were a hit. I think people really liked to see them. I sold 2 out of the 3 because I then sold the green Grim Reaper plus a purple axolotl for a total of $52. Already within the first hour, I sold 2 of my 3 Grim Reapers. I was feeling really great. I sold another chicken for $16. I sold a baby turtle and the baby white axolotl for a total of $34 to a grandma who was going to give it to both of her granddaughters. I sold one of my new mushrooms, the red one with the white spots, for $8. I sold Psyduck for $25 and one of my giant cats for $32. So that would have been a $57 purchase. I sold a grumpy frog for $13. I sold my Squirtle for $38. Both my Squirtle and my Psyduck were at, I think, my last market, and that was it. And they didn't sell, but they both sold at this market. So I'm very happy about that. I sold a swinging chick to a little kid. I sold an opossum for $14 to somebody that said if she saw anything opossum themed or whatever, she was going to buy it because she grew up with a pet opossum, which I thought was very cool. And so when she saw that, like, her whole face lit up and was like, oh my gosh, I have to get it. And she bought it, like, no questions asked. I loved it. It was so funny. I sold another grumpy frog. So that means I sold 2 out of my 3 grumpy frogs. My mother was then helping me keep track, and she was writing slow because it was slow. I sold an axolotl and an octopus to my mom for my cousin's kids because my cousin and her family decided to come to the event, and my mom was like, here, you guys can have them. And so then my mom was like, I'll pay you. So shout out mom and shout out to my cousin and her kids for stopping by Thank you guys. Love you. I sold the skull for $15 to, I would say like a teenager, but I was surprised that she was picking that. And I was like, the skull? Really? And she's like, yes, I love it. And so I sold the skull. I also sold another octopus for $14. And lastly, I sold the pink sparkly ghost for $12. And we have my mom again at the bottom of the thing manifesting that somebody would buy one of my foxes. So that's the 30 plushies that sold. My best sellers, I would definitely say, were my chickens, ghosts, and then a spread of the things that I crochet. I'm honestly not surprised because I feel like that's what's happening more and more, where people are maybe not as much gravitating towards one thing specifically. I also didn't have any of my little cats to bring, and so I think the story might have been different if I brought those as well, but I didn't, so I wouldn't say I had any best sellers other than anything that really sold. Tearing down after the market was kind of interesting because we realized that the beanbag competition I mentioned earlier also ended at 4 p.m. So then about 5 minutes to 4, we were then all told that we can stay and sell until 7. They didn't really specify if they thought that it meant we would be getting more business because that event was ending, or if it was because parking and leaving and unloading would suck. So we ended up staying for like 10 extra minutes. Nobody was coming in. Everybody was starting to tear down because everybody wanted to leave. Like, it wasn't, I don't want to say it was a slow market, but there were definitely like moments when it was slow and there was like nobody there. So a bunch of people were tearing down. My mom ended up getting the car and being able to park super close, which meant that loading up the car was very easy. I think I didn't end up getting another one of the rolly carts, but I had my wagon, so it was fine. What I learned though is that I really do need to invest in a folding 8-foot table. Carrying that 8-foot table on your own sucks so much. I need a folding one. Well, really I need 2 folding 8-foot tables, but at the same time, it's so expensive. And I need new tablecloths because no matter how much I try and like dry them and fold them nicely and like steam them or whatever, they're just wrinkly. And so I really kind of want to get the kind that are like almost bed sheets, like the kind that like are very tight and like stretched out. I think that will help with wrinkles, and I think like the material that mine are made of are just a little bit weird, but they're white and they're very easy to like clean and stuff, so maybe I have to pick my battles with that as well. And I want to get an indoor banner holder. Molly Oddity, the one who I bought these earrings from and who pierces my ears and stuff, she had a really cool banner holder that was like super tall so you could see above everybody else's booths and things. And I thought that that was really cute. Yeah, probably none of that's gonna happen, but maybe it will. Who knows? We'll see. Other than that, I don't really have anything else to talk about. Huge thank you to Bazaar for putting on the show. Hello to my crochet friends that I got to talk to and meet there. Thank you to all the customers that came by, looked at my stuff, and bought things. Huge shout out to my cousin and her kids for stopping by to see me. Biggest shout out to my parents for coming and helping me at this event. I could not do this without them. Seriously, they are my lifesavers. Thank you. Thank you. And also thank you to you as well. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that you did enjoy the market vlog and that maybe you found some inspo for your next market, or you just had a fun time hanging out with me because I had a fun time hanging out with you. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out. And stay tuned for the next video. Bye!